don't you worry, child. See, heaven's got a plan for you. Don't you worry.
All right, hey Young America, this is Jasmine, and I'm so happy that you tuned in again to the weekly address to Young Americans, where we come together to talk about things we care about. Okay, I hope you all had a good weekend. I sure did. It was 60 degrees in Washington, D.C., so we were happy people. All right, so as you know, this show is sponsored by an organization called YOU, which stands for Young, Organized, and United. So let's go ahead and dig into today's topic. So as you all saw, the title is called Stress Makes Me a Hot Mess. And if that ain't the truth, I don't know what is, right? I'm pretty sure many of you guys out there can attest to that statement. You know, as many of us get 18 years old plus, we all kind of encounter stress in some way. Whether it's, you know, trying to pass a class, trying to pass a test, trying to get a job, trying to hold on to the job we have, you know, all these type of things really can enter you into a space where stress is there and to say hello to you. So what today's show is talking about are just some ways to combat that stress and turn it into ways that you can make it into a healthy release for you. You know, they're more so common sense things as we've all heard about, but it's still so important to discuss it. So, you know, I can just speak for myself. When I deal with stress, Lord Jesus, all I know is, you know, I start acting real crazy and, you know, running around with my head cut off, doing like 1,000 things when it has nothing to do with the one thing I need to be doing. Or I just start eating everything I see because I feel like I deserve it because I'm stressed out. So, you know, all of those habits are common to many of us. And so what I want to talk about today is how we can make that moment when we're feeling that stressed out into an opportunity to actually really take care of ourselves and try and combat that feeling, okay? And I want to link it to a broader thing on why this is important. So as you guys all know, there has been a shift on paying attention to mental health in this country, right? Like between all of the gun violence and the bullying in schools, a lot of that stuff is linked to very serious mental issues that do need medical and professional attention, but it doesn't stem far away from just the basic mental issues, health things that we all deal with, whether it's anxiety and stress. So it is very important that us as young Americans begin to talk about this and how we begin to work it out in healthy ways so that we can combat some of the more severe situations that happen from feeling stressed out. So I just wanted to build that context before we get started so that everybody kind of knows where the bigger picture is when it comes to things like this. So, all right, so let's go ahead and dig in. There are 3 things I want to share with you. And like I said, we've all heard it before, but I definitely want to iterate on some of the things. So the very first thing, when you are feeling stressed out, you need to get your exercise on, okay? And that's real, okay? The one thing that we all know is when you exercise, it creates this thing called endorphins. And endorphins are these like feel-good chemicals that come in your head when you're doing something that you really like or that's really good for you. An example of when endorphins may release is like if you're out there and you like to watch Scandal, it's after the last 5 minutes of the show when you're like screaming and going crazy and being all like, ah, you know, endorphins are releasing at that moment when you're smiling and laughing and tweeting and doing all those things. So that's just to give you an example of what endorphin release looks like. But the thing about endorphins, according to Mayo Clinic, is that they are very good at helping you feel better about whatever is happening in your life, and exercise is one way to make them happen. Another thing that's great about exercising is that it often makes you forget about what's happening. I know when I used to dance when I was younger, and even still now, like I literally do not remember anything when I'm in the moment. And so what Mayo Clinic calls it is meditation in motion. So for all of you guys out there, I would consider, you know, if you don't like to exercise, that's okay. You know, you always got to start simple. And that's maybe taking a 5-minute walk around the block and taking in some fresh air, waving at some neighbors, looking at the natural settings. Like all those things make you, A, exercise, and then B, it does create a feel-good feeling for you, which also is a way to combat stress and take some time out for yourself. So, and if you're not an outdoors person, no worries. Just hit some jumping jacks, you know, some kneaded elbow type things, and you'll be good, okay? So, exercise is one way you can combat stress. The second way you can combat stress is by having a healthy diet. So I mentioned this earlier, but of course, we all know when we feel stressed out, we eat everything in sight. Now, maybe that's just, a Jasmine thing. It might just be a girl thing. So I have no clue out there, if you're like, nah, I don't eat what I just want, or crazy. But it does happen. And the thing about having a balanced diet is that when you're eating your water, when you're drinking your water and eating your fruits and your veggies, what it's doing is it's protecting your body, so it allows you to have all the vitamins and the protein and fiber that you need to stay healthy during a time where your body may weaken due to anxiety and stress, but then also the other benefit is if you stay up on your fruits and veggies, then they'll make you feel so full because of the fiber, which is what fiber does for you, that you will not have space in your stomach to eat those bad things. Now, I have not made it to a space where I make that a usual practice, but it's in the back of my mind that I am going to do this. So I'll make a promise to you that when I'm feeling stressed, that I'll go to more fruits and veggies and water instead of going to my usual cookies and cupcakes. So those two things is exercise and having a balanced diet. And this last one is the most important one, okay? And that is your body needs rest, okay? So my mom has a very funny saying. When we're going through something, she always says, go to sleep. So if you're hungry, go to sleep. If you're broke, go to sleep. If you're sad, go to sleep. Okay, now what's supposed to happen when you go to sleep is it gives your body a chance to renew and to strengthen, and to kind of not worry so much when you are feeling those feelings. Now, the one thing I want to put out there is if you are a sleepyhead, this is not a reason to sleep all day, okay? But really, the sleep is truly meant to be a protective measure. Okay, because when you're stressed out and you have anxiety going on, your body weakens, okay, and it makes you susceptible to things like colds and high blood pressure, things that you don't really need to be taken in at a moment where you're worried about a lot of other things. So out there, when the time comes that you are seeing that, things are just out of control, you're not being able to get a grasp on what needs to happen right now, the best thing you could do for yourself is go to sleep. Okay, get a good 8 hours of rest every single day. We should be doing that regardless, but especially during times like this where they're high intensity due to stress and anxiety, please go to sleep. All right, so today's show was short and simple. I hope you all enjoyed it. We are very hopeful that you guys took something away from this and that you'll be able to share this with some of your friends who may be going through something. The struggle is real, people. It is so real. So I'm hopeful that, this will benefit some people out there that maybe need to hear something like this, okay? Now, hopefully you guys can join into next week's show where we'll be talking about how to read your paycheck and how to actually make it go further than what it is right now. So there's some cool things I've talked about in previous shows and some new things that I'll introduce in the next one that could talk to you about some creative things you could do with your paycheck that will benefit you in the long term. So please join in next Monday. We'll be here for you. Thanks so much. Have a good one. Bye-bye.